Good morning. My name is Shawn. I am a graduate gemologist and one of the team members here at Forge Jewelry Works. Today, we want to discuss different gemstones here at Forge. Right now, I'd like to just talk about a diamond, a natural diamond that comes from below the Earth's surface. There are four categories to discuss when it comes to a diamond. They're often referred to as the 4 C's. There's the color, the clarity, the cut, and then finally the carat weight. And we're not going to spend a lot of time going into that in depth right now, but just understand that the more rare the stone is, the higher they are on this scale, the more valuable the diamond is, therefore the more expensive it is. So we have the below the earth natural diamond. Now in comparison, one thing that we find we're starting to sell quite a bit and is relatively new to the scene is a lab-grown diamond. Now, one thing that we always clarify is a lab-grown diamond is just as much a diamond as a natural diamond. The difference is the origin which it's found, or in this case, the origin which it's grown. Common analogy I like to use here is the analogy of how ice forms. So it's a nice wintry day here in Utah, and outside, if you go to the right place and find the right conditions, you'll find naturally occurring ice. And that's because there was enough moisture and the temperature was the right temperature to freeze. You have ice. Now, scientists or those who created a freezer figured out that you can also create ice, I guess, in your own way, where you can put water in the freezer and freeze the temperature, and voila, you have ice. And so that's a very simple way to describe the differences. But if you took the ice from outside and the ice from the freezer and you compared them, they're the same chemically, the crystal structures are the same, it's just their origin is different. And so that's the concept of a lab-grown diamond. It is a diamond, however, it's just been grown in laboratories above ground, as it's often referred to. And then last thing I want to discuss is a very popular gemstone that we sell quite a bit of at Forge Jewelry Works, and this is a lab-created moissanite. Now, the story of moissanite is in the late 1800s, there was a French scientist named Henry Moissan, thus the name, and he studied meteorites in the Arizona desert. As he studied the craters, they found remnants of these meteorites, and they found a substance as they studied that later became known as moissanite. It was carbon-based like diamond. It had some other properties that they don't get real specific on, but it is very similar to a diamond. Now, one thing always people get a little concerned about is what's the hardness? How durable is the stone going to be? Well, if you recall back to your physical science classes, you may recall a scale called Mohs scale of hardness. And diamond is the very top of that scale. It's a 10, and as it goes down the scale, you gradually end up at 0. So diamond's a 10, sapphire's a 9. You go down further, you have emerald at about a 7, 7.5. Moissanite is a 9.25 on Mohs scale of hardness. So it's actually even harder than sapphire is. And so very durable. It's something we refer to as a generational stone, which means it's not only going to last your generation and your lifetime, but it'll be something you can hand down to the next generations. So as you're comparing all three gemstones, natural diamond, lab-grown diamond, and moissanite, appearance-wise, they all look very similar. And they all have very similar abilities to fall wherever on the chart here, just depending what the conditions were when they were grown. Moissanite's a little more regulated, and they really shoot for the higher area on the scale. But just realize the thing that's great about these stones is it gives you all kinds of options for budget and whatever you desire to have. The thing that we love is we can just support you in whatever your decision is and find the very best option at the very best value.